why don't you give us a little bit more info about your business and what you guys do?
Well, ultimately, the software that I learned in engineering wasn't really that useful in the sense of predicting where the stocks were going to go. So it was a little humbling to find that out. But the software was very helpful in automating a business, that's for sure. But ultimately, I think, use kind of my engineering mindset and problem solving, mindset, and engineered my way into kind of the investment philosophy that we ultimately started using way back, let's say in the early 90s now. But what you should do is look for successful examples and try to figure out how they are successful. So what I mean by that is look for successful money managers and learn from their example. And fortunately for me, I became aware of Warren Buffett early on, meaning that not that many people knew about him in 1990, even though he had been around and managing money successfully very quietly for a long time, as of like around 1990. When I became aware of his investment philosophy, buying good quality, being patient, being disciplined, letting the market work for you, not against you, keeping your emotions in check, etc. All these kind of teachings that we all know of from Warren Buffett today was kind of kept under wraps back in that time. But when I became aware of that and employed that into our investment philosophy, that was another major turning point, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what is your average? Do you have an average type of client? Is there a specific type of person that comes to you and works with you?
Yeah, I'd say an average client probably has about a $3 million net worth and has maybe about a million or $1.5 million under management with us.
Okay, makes sense. I'm almost there. Just kidding. Not quite there. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like in my early 20s and I have a semi-successful podcast and an early career engineering job. So we're not quite there yet, but eventually I'll be there. And I'll be
When I
giving you a
was
call.
when I was only about 10 years or so older than you, I went to an annual meeting with Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger, and he looked out in the crowd and said, you know what? Anybody that's in this meeting, I think, is going to be probably pretty successful someday. And I'm going to look out at you and say, I feel the same way. So I think you got a great future ahead of you.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.